Good morning, traders. How are we doing today? Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Jason Krutzky. It is a pleasure to be here with you all. Obviously, as you can see, I've got NVIDIA up on my chart here, and I think kind of all eyes are on NVIDIA right now, right? I mean, we had absolutely blowout earnings again, quarter after quarter. They just seem to be completely unstoppable right now. So much so that some folks are even trying to suggest they're cooking the books. I don't know if I believe that, but it is wild how rapidly they are growing and how much money they are making. Despite that, however, what's up, MG? Good morning to you. Hope you're well. Despite that, however, this bad boy is selling off this morning. And, you know, to some degree, maybe that's not a huge surprise. We were talking about it yesterday before the earnings announcement. This thing has run 27% off of the lows made in October. That's a pretty huge move. Some of that, you know, has to be the investors and traders pricing in an incredible earnings report, which is exactly what we got. So, you know, we'll see how this kind of shakes out over the next days and weeks. Obviously, we've got Thanksgiving tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you who are tuned in who celebrate. I won't be here to wish you happy Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day. So happy Thanksgiving to you in advance. Hopefully you guys have family close and you get to hang out with them and see them, your loved ones tomorrow. If you're traveling, be safe traveling. I'm only going to be here for a short time today. So, you know, hit me with what you got. If you've got questions about the platform, hit me with them. Our Black Friday sale is coming to a close in just a few short days. If you have not taken advantage of that deal, now is the time to do it. And if you have taken advantage of that deal and you have questions, perhaps that's why you're here. And so I would love to answer any of your questions. Otherwise, I'm just kind of hanging out watching NVIDIA today. While I await your questions, let's take a look just for the heck of it, because I haven't really looked at the indices or anything today. Obviously a pretty big sell-off, pretty big move initially with a big sell-off against it, and it looks like they came right into those previous highs. So this seems like a pretty logical place to perhaps take a pause. We'll see what they end up doing. You know, a lot of folks talking yesterday about why would they sell off the day before Thanksgiving? It's Thanksgiving. Run it higher. Well, clearly that's not in the plan just yet. Maybe things will change here after the first, we've been open for 32 minutes. So maybe things will change, turn around. Obviously, markets close tomorrow. Then we have a half day on Friday. So I'm kind of anticipating lower volume today and on Friday personally. I guess we'll see how that plays out. But anyway, SPY, logical spot for it to perhaps pause into those previous daily highs from July. That's a big, big level. If we go to the monthly, see what they've done on the monthly here. All in all, pretty darn bullish reversal here on the monthly. They took out last month's high, took out September highs, and going for August highs as well. Doesn't really look like they're going to be able to manage that today, but we'll see how it goes. On the Qs, let's take a look. Interested in the TrendSpider app. Cool. Better trading platform than Schwab. Yeah, I mean, the app is great. I believe that we are bringing new updates to it. If we didn't just recently, I have to take a look and see what the latest is on the app. But I know that there was quite a few changes that were being made to it. Give me 1 second. Let me take a look here. I'm just looking. Okay, update to the mobile app. Bottom navigation panels. Scroll. Not much there. Well, yeah, MG, play around with the app. If you're interested to know more about it, let me see here. See if we have some documentation on it. MG, do you have an account with us already, or are you just considering it? Here is some documentation that we have. Just remember that the app is a companion app to the main platform. You still will need to do some of your work on the platform. The app is not a one-for-one version. Well, if you're considering it, MG, now is the time for sure. Best deal you're going to find on TrendSpider this year and probably until this time next year. Oh, cool. Right on. Tell Sandy hello for us. Yeah, it's definitely, obviously it's a great way to monitor things kind of while you're on the go. Quite a bit you can do with it, scanning and such. But again, it's not a one-for-one transferable. Everything that you can do on TrendSpider, you can do on the app. What I would say to do, MG, sign up for a month. Let me see exactly what the prices are right now, because right off the top of my head, I am uncertain exactly what the deal is. I mean, I know it's 82% off, up to 82% off. Yeah, so you could sign up for even just the cheapest plan if you wanted to. There might be some limitations. I don't think there are any limitations to how the app works. Depending on the plan you have. So you could sign up for, I mean, I would kind of recommend Elite. It's just got all of the features. So if you wanted to play around with strategy testing, or you wanted to play around with some of the more complex tools, grab an Elite. It's 25 bucks, try it for a month. See how you feel about it. That'll give you plenty of time to play around. And yeah, if you end up liking it, you can always upgrade to a yearly account if you wanted to. That would be my recommendation. I kind of always recommend the Elite plan as a starting point. Are there any tools on the platform itself that you're curious about, MG? Sell-off on the indices pretty gnarly. Perhaps they're gonna try and fill this gap a little bit more. MG, you're back. Welcome. Are there any tools on the platform that you're curious about, MG, outside of the app? Anything that I can kind of show you around? Happy to show you anything you're curious to know more about. Automated selling when I'm in the green and stop loss when not. Okay, so that's something that you would build utilizing the strategy tester. That sounds like you're wanting to create like an automated trading strategy. So yeah, totally possible. I utilize this example a lot, but this is just, you know, a basic strategy on Apple. Works pretty well against the asset. So if you're wanting to create like an automated trading strategy, like a trading bot, you would just create your trading strategy here. I've got my entry, my exit criteria. I have a stop loss and a take profit defined. We just click launch as trading bot. We could go to our Signal Stack account. Oh, I wanted to not. Well, darn it. Well, we could go to our Signal Stack account. I suppose I could. I want to sign in without the 2FA. This has changed a little since the last time I signed in. Give me one sec. No, doesn't want to let me sign in. There we go. Okay, so you would just go, you'd grab your webhook right here. We'd pop over to the webhooks, input them, and create the bot. That simple. Now you can utilize this if you just want to get alerts for your entry and exit signals. You could do that too. Just SMS and email. Just check these boxes and again, create bot. These signals will never expire. They will live right here in your bot's sidebar. So this is the one that's actually going to my brokerage. This one is not. This one is just signals. You can send, if you wanted to, you could send this to like a Discord. Anything that accepts a webhook signal, you're going to be able to send these to. Delete all this stuff. Now, as far as fibs and trading and support resistance, a couple of different tools you can utilize for support resistance and fibs. Obviously, we have the fib drawing, the auto fib tool. Auto fib's going to draw it's going to automatically draw a fib sequence over the most recently completed move per the time frame, but there are some limitations here, or not limitations, but something that you do need to know. Auto analysis tools are built off of what we call the truth and analysis timestamp. Truth and analysis timestamp delineates with a vertical dash line the last time the chart was updated. The chart has to be manually updated to renew or to update all of your auto analysis tools. It doesn't have to be automatic, or it doesn't have to be manually updated to update the chart itself, but your auto analysis tools are based off of the last time you updated. So the last time I updated this chart was November 16th. In order to update it, I click on the refresh icon and it moves that fib sequence to the most recently completed move per the time frame. This is going to affect all of my auto analysis tools: auto fibs, auto trends, heat maps. And the auto fib tool is going to, again, like I said, it's going to draw over the most recently completed move per the time frame. And as you switch time frames, it's going to move that fib around. In some cases it won't, but in most cases it's going to. It just depends on if the swing, the most recent swing or most recently completed swing is the same across time frames. And sometimes it is the same across time frames, but other times it's not. So do keep that in mind. So here's your auto fib tool. And then we also have heat maps, and heat maps are going to be drawing horizontal levels based off of areas on the chart where price has made the same highs or lows over a period of concurrent candles. So it's looking for horizontal consolidation previously on the chart, and then it extends those lines forward for you. Sometimes you get charts that look like this, and sometimes you have very refined sections. It just kind of depends on what price action is doing. But this gives you an idea of kind of where those potential horizontal support resistance levels could be. Another tool that I love to use for horizontal support resistance is going to be the zigzag indicator. So I'm going to come up here, type in zigzag. Yeah, there we go. Add zigzag to your charts. Zigzag indicator is really cool because it can show me horizontal levels based off of previous pivots. It extends those out into the future as well. This is the five most recent pivots. You can define these. What's great about this, in my opinion, is that I can define a couple of things. I can define the source of price. So I can define whether the pivots are being drawn from bodies or wicks. This is an important distinction that some price action traders are interested in. I can also define, show you here, I'm going to change the color of the labels so that you can see them. So I can define A, B, C, D, and E, the past 5 pivots. I can define them in the scanner. So I can define all kinds of price action conditions. If you look up market structure, if you just look up market structure in your market scanner, you're going to see a handful of different market structure setups. I've got a video that we just put out about market structure basics that goes over all of these scanners, what they look for. So if you're looking for pullbacks and uptrends or bounces and downtrends, market structure shifts, these sorts of things, these are all available, and they're found using zigzag. Really, really powerful little indicator. You asked about, do we include trading strategies? There are some, yes. There are some pre-builds here for you. We also share ideas in our Discord. So up here, if you click on this question mark icon and go to join our official Discord, there are some strategy ideas. I create them and share them with the gang when I come up with cool stuff. So there's, over the past week and a half or so, I've shared, I think, 4 different ones. This Apple one was one that I shared recently. Pretty powerful little strategy on Apple. I shared a couple on Tesla. And I think there was one for the Qs, like an alligator. Yeah, alligator trend follower on the Qs. Works pretty decent. There is also what you can do, MG. You could do things like this, like in your assistant. If you were to type in like test MACD cross, it knows what you're trying to do. Takes a moment to get it, but it knows what you're trying to do. So click on this where it says test MACD cross. It opens up the strategy tester. It builds the MACD. Oh, excuse me. It builds the MACD cross entry and exit conditions for you. Yep, Discord is included for sure. Yeah. And there's other folks, there's other traders on there that share ideas from time to time. You know, it's not like a wildly bustling community of people sharing strategies constantly, but people do. So that's available to you. This assistant is great for kind of building out very simple things. The assistant understands everything that's going on in visual scripts. So the way that it kind of works, the platform really runs off of these visual scripts. All of the kind of more extensive tools utilize visual scripts to do what they do, whether you're scanning for particular conditions or you're strategy testing conditions, or you're wanting to create alerts on a set of conditions as opposed to just one kind of instance MG. Everything's going to be built off of these scripts, and inside visual scripts, you have access. There's like 800 items here, 737 items. My mind is moving faster than my mouth can talk. So if you type in, I don't know, anything here, type in Bollinger Bands here, it's going to come up with samples of like all of these different setups, common setups that traders like to look for. Price bounced lower Bollinger Band, price bounced middle, price bounced upper, price breakthrough middle, price within range of lower, price within range of middle, price within range of upper. You see, there's all these different examples preset for you. And so what you can do is you can take one of these examples, price bounced, let's say price broke through, actually, let's say price within range, lower Bollinger Band. It has the condition pre-built, and I could take this condition, I could send it places. So if I wanted to create an alert for this condition, I could do that. It's going to create the alert on whatever name I have up on my chart. So it's an hourly condition on the cues for price within range of the lower Bollinger Band by 1%. And just one click, it creates that for me. All I have to do is say create alert here. And I can choose my expiry, how long it lives in my system, how many times I want to be alerted on it, but it automatically creates that for me. I could take it elsewhere. You know, I can say, what were we looking at? Price bounced lower. Yeah, so I could take and send this to the strategy tester and use it as an entry condition or an exit condition in my strategy. Like if I want to test price bouncing off a lower Bollinger Band as my entry, just send it to your entry, right? And there it is. It's in my entry now. I could then, if I wanted to, I could go, sounds like I need to start my music back. I could say price above upper Bollinger Band as my exit. So send to backtest as exit. So I'm buying the bounce off the low. I'm selling the bounce off the high. Right? Pretty simple idea. Let me start my music back up here. It got real quiet real fast, didn't it? So although this strategy, and it's possible, I'm not sure if this particular strategy is pre-built, but it's easy to create strategies without knowing how to like script. If you have an idea of what it is you're looking for, you can kind of do this. As well, behind my head here, bottom right-hand corner, where it says contact us, if you click this, this is a direct feed into our employee chat room. We have product experts who are available every day of the week, Monday through Sunday, answering questions, helping customers understand how to utilize the platform. So know that they are available to you as well. You know, I'm live on occasion and always happy to like talk through ideas, but these guys are too, and they can help with things like this as well. If you're trying to script an idea, trying to build out an idea, you're more than welcome to reach out to them and they can help you if you're having trouble with that. Excuse me. Sorry for the sniffly nose. Starting to get a little cooler here in town. MG, any other curious questions from you, sir or ma'am? Anything you'd like me to kind of dig in a little bit more on? Yeah, I do. I really like the zigzag a lot. Let me share something with you. Let me grab this. Because this is a really good... Yeah, MG, yeah, I have the tendency of doing that. But, you know, it just goes to show, first of all, what, you know, how versatile the platform is, but also kind of that there's a lot to learn, you know, and we understand that there's a lot to learn. There are ways to make things easier. That assistant will be your best friend. You can utilize the assistant for lots of different things. So you can type in add MACD, and it's going to tell you, it's going to prompt you to add a MACD to your chart, right? Like, I don't have to go looking for the indicator or anything like that. I don't need to know where on the platform that is. I just go to the assistant, add MACD, and it adds it. And that goes for lots of different data points. I could say, you know, QQQ options. See all unusual options for the QQQ. It opens up what's happening now, which is like a kind of like a mini Bloomberg terminal with tons of cool information. So this is just a direct feed of all of the unusual options orders that are coming in. It's updated to the past 250 of them, I believe. So at the very least, you're going to get everything important today, but then probably everything important past couple of days. There's all kinds of stuff here. You can type in things like, I don't know, Apple, NVIDIA earnings. Open NVIDIA. Oops, where is it at? See all earnings for NVIDIA right here. And then this is going to give me a list of NVIDIA earnings and everything about them. So lots of different ways that you can utilize the assistant, from building strategies for you to just doing basic things, finding data around the platform. But I wanted to share this with you too, really quickly, because this video really, it talks about how to utilize zigzag to kind of understand trend, what's going on with trend, and how to scan for quite a few of those different trend setups, those market structure setups. Pretty fascinating concepts that I've personally been enamored with for quite some time. Any other stuff, MG? You said no, that's great. So sounds like you're good to go. But yeah, we'd love to get you on the platform. Love to get you as a TrendSpider trader. So, you know, feel free to even just sign up for a month, play around with it. You can always ask us questions like I showed you. Oh, I've removed my face. I'm back now. You can always ask us questions, and you know, we'll be happy to help you out. If you need some help from me personally, let me give you this. That's my Twitter handle. You're more than welcome to reach out to me anytime via my Twitter. My DMs stay open. And I'm happy to help however I can, you know? Cool, right on. Hey, thank you for being here, MG. You've given me good purpose today. So I appreciate that. Any other y'all? You guys, there's a few of you guys here. Any of you guys have any questions, guys or gals? While I'm here, like I said, today is going to be a shorter day. Yesterday we were live for about 2 hours or so. But today is going to be a little bit of a shorter one. Got a bit to do to take care of before the holiday tomorrow. Going on with MDDA. Ooh, interesting. Another cool thing, MG, another cool thing that folks seem to really like. So we're able to automatically identify a bunch of different chart patterns. Wow, there's a lot going on NVIDIA right now on the 5 minute. I've just got all of them turned on. I do not recommend having all of them turned on, but Broadening patterns, all different kinds of broadening patterns. You can automatically identify channels, double bottom, double top, head shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, triangles, wedges. And what this functionality allows for is stuff like this. You can scan for these chart patterns as well. Sunil, have I covered NVIDIA today? I have not really talked about NVIDIA very much. I mean, we were watching it when I first started the stream. We had an eye on it, just, seeing what was going on with it. Obviously, pretty gnarly little sell-off. We could talk about it in a little bit if you want, but I'm going to talk about this really quick. The chart patterns functionality allows us for finding things like this. Like if you're just looking for falling wedge breakouts, you can use chart patterns to find them. Pretty sweet. Let me show you. So let me just turn off everything else. Again, like I said, do not recommend having all of your patterns turn on. But you can automatically scan for things like this. Like this is so cool. If you're the type that likes to trade falling wedge breakouts, well, here's a pre-built scanner made for you, ready to go, looking for falling wedge breakouts. Pretty awesome. Super, super time impactful, right? Saves you so much time. And then you could go and you could take this and you could save it as your own and create unique versions of this to kind of better suit what you specifically are looking for. And when I say that, I mean, just doing simple things like saying, I don't know, price, greater than $30 or something like that. Right, if you only want to trade stocks above 30 bucks. Like very simple little ideas, but just ways of filtering out those breakouts. You could say things like RVOL greater than 2, which would be, 2x average volume on that breakout. Giving it more power, essentially. Now, whether or not anything is going to come up here, I don't know, but, you can take these basic prompts that we've built and you could expand on them to kind of make your own ideas, to make it make sense for your own ideas. So anyway, wanted to take a moment to talk about that. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, we talked about it yesterday for a while. Huge run up into the earnings report, 27% move. Not uncommon from what we've seen in previous November earnings reports for NVIDIA. Not sure if you guys were around yesterday, but if you were not, let me show you this. Pretty cool. I can back test earnings, the run up to earnings. So on my entry side, I'm saying earnings within the next 25 days. On the exit side, I'm saying earnings within the next day. So I want to get in 25 days before earnings. I want to get out the day before. And I can run this test to see kind of how that run up tends to work. I'll show you, let me add earnings markers so you can kind of see. Here's the earnings markers, these vertical dashed lines. And this is us getting out the day before. And what it shows us in particular right here, this is the November earnings run up in 2021. You had a 27% move-ish. Then you had the November earnings run up in 2022, another 27% move. And then you had the run up this time, a 22-ish% move. So pretty in line with what we've seen historically over the past couple of years. Note that the 2021 move pretty much marked the high for a year. The 2022 move kind of took us off the lows for the year. So another potentially pivotal point. Another key level was this 618 fib right here. Turn on your auto fibs. It'll measure from the previous all-time high down to the 2022 low. You can see how that 618 fib extension was a really important level in August and September. Clearly important here. So this is going to be, in my opinion, this is key for the bulls to gain. You want to get back up and over that 493 spot. because it's just been such a heavy level of resistance, usually into all-time highs. This is not an uncommon thing to see. That 1.618 extension, lots and lots of traders have their eyes on it. So not a surprise to see it acting as some resistance here. Yesterday, we traded above it. They made new all-time highs, on Monday? So for the bulls, that is, I think, a key spot to regain. If this does end up being kind of the high and it pulls back, then my thinking would be, well, actually, let's see what the weekly autofib does. Not quite what I was looking for. So my thinking would be watch for some pullbacks. Use the fibs as targets, as potential targets. But, you know, who knows? We'll have to see. It was an absolutely blowout earnings report, suggesting wildly powerful and strong growth from NVIDIA. On seasonality, though, you know, something to keep in the back of your mind, too. Let's take a look at seasonality. This is the past 25 years of data on NVIDIA. November, strongest performing month of the year. Historically, over the past 25 years, a 76% win rate. Well, we're clearly already there. You know, the month is green. And when we add mean change to this, mean change tells us exactly that. Mean change in November's historically. Well, mean change in November historically as of right now, so including this year's move, or this November's move, mean change 10.98%. In November, we've gained 22. So we're, well, let's see, actually not 22 in November. Let's see what the actual number is. November 1st to right now, we've gained 18.78% since November started. So we're already, what, 9% or so higher than what is kind of normal for this month historically. And you're coming into some weakness, or not. Yeah, you're coming into a little bit of weakness. I mean, December's pretty good. Mean change in December is not historically that much, 3.3%, with a 63% win rate. And then you've got January with a 38% win rate. So January, the weakest performing month of the year for NVIDIA historically. So we're coming off of wild seasonal strength and coming into seasonal weakness. So what this tells me, or what this tells us, is the odds of profit taking in November are kind of high. Then perhaps maybe what we look for is some pullback, and we try and buy some seasonal weakness in January for what tends to be a pretty decent month of February. February, 68% win rate, mean change is 7%, 7.2. So maybe that's what we want to be thinking about here for NVIDIA. I know there's lots of huge, really high price targets coming out today. I'd be willing to bet we could look and see what analysts are saying. So an assistant, I'm just typing in NVIDIA analysts. So nothing really came in yesterday, which is interesting. Nothing's come in today, but perhaps we'll get an update on this soon. Everybody confirming a buy, of course. But these targets of like $700 in the near term, they might be a little lofty, I guess, is kind of what I'm getting at. The Stratters know about exhaustion risk. Well, we've just made new highs, so you are at exhaustion risk because of that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. One thing I'd be keeping an eye on, or one thing I am keeping an eye on, you've got the anchored VWAP from the gap up back in May. It's going to be a key spot. If they do continue to pull back, this is going to be a spot that you're going to want to keep an eye on, just because this represents where all of your, or where your average buyer owns NVIDIA at from this big gap up. Gap ups, power earnings gap ups represent, you know, fundamental shifts in the narrative. And so therefore, a new understanding of what the stock is capable of. And so I always, whenever there are these big gap ups like this, these power earnings gap ups, I always like to anchor a VWAP to the first candle just to see how price reacts. You can see it spent a lot of time above that level. When it fails below it, it tends to recover relatively quickly. It took a while back in October to do so, but it did ultimately gain it. So, you know, if we get a pullback, be keeping an eye here. You have 150 SMA. Another thing that we mentioned yesterday, we posted a short video detailing a handful of different things that we were seeing on the charts. And the 150 SMA was a key pivot level in October. So that could perhaps be another spot to really keep an eye on. Kind of in this area really is kind of where my head is at. If they do pull it back further, be kind of looking down in here. This aligns with a zigzag level right here as well. You've got a fair value gap. So this could be a big spot, kind of around 410 bucks. I'm not saying it's going to get there. I'm not saying if it does get there. I'm not saying when it's going to get there. It's just a spot that be keeping an eye on. You did have another thing we pointed to. You had Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, selling. First time in a year, back in September, from the 1st through the 14th, he was selling. So he was selling in here, give or take. I guess here. No, here. He was selling all through here. And this was right off at the heels of a killer earnings report. He sold $100 million worth of shares. Now, maybe $100 million for that guy is not that much. Presumably it isn't. I don't really know, but seems like a lot to me, but I don't know. I'm not a big tech CEO. That could be pennies. And you know, CEOs sell for all different reasons, but he sold right off the heels of one of their best earnings reports ever. Why? You know, why? Why would he do that off of such a killer earnings report? I don't know. It's sus. It's a little sus. Anyway, market recovered and came back to his selling area or his selling price. I'd be curious to see if over time if he's selling more. So I'm going to keep an eye on that too. Anyway, those are some thoughts on NVIDIA. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Guys, any other TrendSpider related questions? Just went over some of the more, more interesting peripheral tools with insiders, with seasonality. These are really cool ways to kind of gauge expectations. Just something as simple as this. You're strong in November, you're weak in January. So why not think about at least selling into this strength? And then if you're really bullish on NVIDIA, consider buying in January because you know that it's historically weak. And you know that February tends to be pretty strong. You can break this down too. You can break it down by week of the year. So actually, the 44th week just 4 weeks ago was the strongest historical week of the year over the past 19 years. So you can get a little bit more meta with this, and you could say, well, maybe I want to be considering buying somewhere around in here and selling into this super, super strong, historically strong week, 80% win rate in this particular week 4 weeks ago, or rather 3 weeks ago. Next week tends to be pretty strong as well. And then things kind of fall off. You could even break this down even further. You could break this down by day of the week. There are some random pockets of alpha in here. Maybe a particular ticker performs really, really poorly historically on Mondays, and then by Friday it's really strong. And maybe that strength increases over the week. So then you start thinking about, well, maybe I should be buying Mondays, selling Fridays. You could break it down by hour of the day. Lots of things you could do with seasonality. And it's not just green or red candles. You can break seasonality down in a lot of different ways too. Like how much volume does it tend to have, or time it spends above or below certain RSI values, money flow index values, above and below the 20, the 50, the 100 SMA even. When does it tend to be in uptrends? When does it tend to be in downtrends? That's interesting. So lots of different things you can do there with seasonality. NVIDIA recovering off the lows a little bit. Indexes recovering as well. Pretty much almost filled the gap. They always do this, don't they? They make these gaps. Everybody's got their eye on the gap fill, and then they bounce it just before the fill comes. Tricky dudes. Running the show. Q's got a little bit closer to filling it. Any other questions? Any other TrendSpider related questions from y'all? Any other tools that you're curious about? Happy to answer any TrendSpider related questions. Hey, if you're enjoying this, if you're enjoying the live stream and you're finding it helpful, please give us a follow here or subscribe to the channel and like the video. These are two metrics that fare well for me. So more likes, more subs, we would be very appreciative. And it also lets us know that you guys dig these live streams and that we should continue doing them. If you're not yet a TrendSpider user, huge sale going on right now for Black Friday. It ends on Sunday. So you only have a few more days to decide if you want to take advantage of this insane offer, up to 82% off. Pretty crazy deal. Remember, again, we do have live support via the Contact Us button in the bottom right-hand corner of the charts. These guys are available even if you're not a TrendSpider trader. You can reach out to them on the main TrendSpider webpage. What's the difference between ADX and ADXR? Good question. Let's take a look. Average directional index rating and average directional index. I do, off the top of my head, I'm going to be completely honest and tell you that I don't know, but let's take a look. Well, clearly ADXR contains quite a few more data points. If you remove, well, no, they are quite different. Let's see here. There might be some information on this. Let me see here. Yeah, okay. Here's the source code. Let's check here. Anything? All right. Let me see, MG. That's a good question, because I actually don't know the answer to that off the top either. I'm actually not sure about this ADXR. Hold on. What's this? ADXR. Average directional movement rating quantifies momentum change in the ADX. It's calculated by adding two values of ADX, the current value and value end periods back, and then dividing by 2. The additional smoothing makes the ADXR slightly less responsive than ADX. The interpretation is the same as the ADX. The higher the value, the stronger the trend. The ADXR, being a smoothed version of the ADX, can be used similarly to the ADX in the 3 rules system discussed by the ADX section. So I'm going to copy pasta this for you, Abdullah, and let you kind of read through that in your own time to gain that understanding that you're after. I do not personally use ADX, so it's not a indicator that I am familiar with. I apologize that I don't know more about it. So regarding your question, MG, let me take a look here. I'm going to tell you one thing, though, before we even talk about... Where's my TrendSpider app? Before we talk about testing strategies on the app, I want to talk about the tools in the strategy tester are very important. So I'm just going to go back. I keep harping on this, but... or I keep utilizing this strategy. The tools inside the tester are super important. Specifically, the Price Behavior Explorer is really, really helpful in understanding what the heck your strategy is doing, or what the positions that you're taking, what are they doing? Oop, you've lost me again. You can't see me. I'm going to bring me back. And these tools are not available, I don't think, on the app. Let me make sure, though. Actually, I'm not certain that strategy testing is even available on the app. I've never strategy tested on the app because, frankly, it seems weird to me to even consider doing that. Yeah, I'm not seeing that functionality on the app. I'm learning while you guys are learning. So you can scan and you can tool around on your alerts. I'm just making sure. So scanning, yes. And editing alerts, yes. But strategy testing, not available. And that makes sense because these tools are really important. Like I said, you need to know for your strategies, you got to know what the heck your strategies are doing. What are your positions doing? When you're in a position, how does it work? Does it draw down a lot before becoming a winner? Does it instantly go against you? Is there a point in time when the returns kind of fail or kind of decrease? Like here, you could see after about 40 candles, your returns really decrease. So then that suggests, well, maybe I should just be getting out of trades that are more than 40 candles long. And you wouldn't be able to see any of this stuff. It's important to be able to see this stuff. You can also, and there are really only a few data points that I really monitor with in price behavior. Doesn't mean you shouldn't use other ones, but the ones that I kind of utilize the most, I use number of winning positions. Because I want to know how many positions actually make it and how far they make it. And I use 96% of winners. So the 96% of winners tells me like how much do my winners draw down before becoming winners? How much do they extend? Again, like where do the profits tend to fall off? How many trades actually make it that far? And then I use tabular data to kind of guide me as well. We're always looking for what's going on with our win percentage, our max drawdown on the strategy relative to the asset, our average win percentage, our average return, our risk to reward. These are all values that are very important to me. And so we just want to make sure that these values are safe. If I went to another ticker, I'll go to NVIDIA, and it's going to run this test on NVIDIA. And what we get is sometimes we'll get this. So this is called no-go highlighting. And this is a big red flag telling us this strategy is not safe to employ on this name at this time. Got to figure out a new way. Our win rate is just not high enough relative to our risk to reward and the average return. So we need to figure out a way to optimize this for the ticker that we're on in this case. So do not use the performance chart versus the asset as your sole thing here. The win rate suggests that this strategy is not quite right. You need to adjust it a little bit to get that win rate up and make that no-go highlighting go away. Can we provide hourly updates to GEX? What's GEX? Oh, gamma exposure on just SPY. That would be awesome. Warren. At this time, that's not available. But if you'd like to, you can always request that feature. Click that contact us button. Again, going to remove me real quick. Contact us button. Reach out to these guys. I do agree that would be very sweet. Would love to work with like a Spot Gamma on providing some information like that to the platform. But right now it's not available. I don't know if something like that is in the works. But it would be sweet. I agree with you, Warren. All right, guys. I'm running up into the hour that I had planned to be live. I'm happy to answer more questions if you guys have them. If that kind of covers everything for everybody, then I'm going to say sayonara and get on with things here. Sure thing, Roddy. We are always adding little bits and pieces to the platform. I don't know exactly where that data would come from or how easy it is to attain. If it's something you could pull from somewhere else and create a custom indicator, you know, we do offer custom indicator scripting via JavaScript now. All right, MG Later Gator, happy Thanksgiving, excuse me, to you as well. So I don't know if that data is available somewhere else. Maybe you could build out a little indicator, but I don't, again, I don't know, unfortunately. It's a little outside of my pay grade. Agree, it would be sweet though. Just a line chart would be awesome, an overlay of that. So guys, any other questions? Any other curious questions about TrendSpider? Last time I'm going to say it, 82% off, up to 82% off deal for Black Friday ends Sunday. And I will not be live again until next week. So that's the last time I'm going to be able to tell y'all live. If you've been on the fence with TrendSpider, you've been thinking about it, you're not sure, now's the time to give it a go. We've got monthly and yearly plans. You're going to save the most if you prepay for the year, but you don't have to do that right off the bat. You can get a monthly plan. Give it a trial run, see how you feel about it. Any other cues? Going once, going twice. Going 3 times, 4 and 5 times. If you enjoyed this live stream, please give me a like. Subscribe to the channel to know when we're going live again. Follow me on Twitter. I tend to post about when I'm going live on Twitter. Again, my Twitter handle, Krutzky Trades. If you have any questions about TrendSpider between now and the next time I'm live for me, feel free to reach out via Twitter. Send me a DM or just mention me in your comment. I'm happy to assist however I can. All right, seems like questions, we've got them all figured out for the day. So I am going to close the showdown. Thank you all so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Hopefully this was helpful for a few of you. Seems like we got some questions answered for MG over here. I hope you guys all have a fantastic holiday with your loved ones, your family. If you're traveling again, be safe getting to where you're going. Don't drink and drive. Tomorrow, market is closed. Friday is a half day. And we will be back at it again here with these live streams next week. So until then, y'all, take care of yourself. Be well. Happy trading. And we'll see you again soon. All right. Bye, guys.